Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, hey,
Welcome
hey,
to
hey, hey,
another
hey, hey.
episode of He Said, She Said with the Williamsons. I am Anthony Williamson.
You are
I am, and you are?
Kimberly Williamson. Shout out
Shout
A
out,
to the
shout
B.
out, shout out, shout out. It is Sunday,
Sunday fun day.
7 p.m.
Woo! It's
We're
the
here,
time.
like we said.
We're here. We're up in the building. We're up in this piece.
Yes, we are. How was your day?
It was excellent. How was your day?
It was excellent. It
Okay.
was excellent.
Coming off an excellent weekend.
Coming off an excellent weekend.
Shout out. It was my birthday on Thursday.
Well, if you would have waited, I was going to get to celebrity birthdays, and
Oh.
yours was going to be the first one.
Oh, I blew it.
So let's get into celebrity news,
Okay,
and let's talk about birthdays,
Woo.
celebrity birthdays.
Yeah.
KD, friend of the pod, co-host, celebrated a birthday this weekend. How was it?
It was excellent. Birthday was Thursday.
Tell everybody about it.
It was excellent. You showed up and showed out. Just made me feel so loved and appreciated on Thursday.
I tried.
And then Friday had a little self-care spa. And then pedicure. And then Saturday we went out for dinner.
Yep.
With the Robinsons, and that was fun.
Want to tell them where we went?
We went to the Fountain Room.
To the Fountain Room. If you've never been there, please go. Great meatloaf.
Yeah, real great vibe, great atmosphere.
Drinks.
Drinks great. Good. It says it's like a supper club vibe. Is what the description is, but
yeah,
just great atmosphere.
Great atmosphere.
Really great food. We've been there for brunch also, but this was dinner, and so really good. Great service. So
great service every time.
Yes.
Every time.
So everything was great. Fun. Definitely catching up and having fun with the Robinsons, and
yeah.
The Stubblefields were supposed to join us, but and so definitely fun. And then church today, and also had a visitor for family and friends month.
Family and friends.
Fun. Service was amazing
as always.
Yes, Pastor. Shout out to Emmanuel Missionary Baptist Church, where we are saved to serve and share in the joy of Jesus.
Yes.
And but no, great service. Really eye opening, and some great thoughts like, "Are you ready?
Right.
Are you ready? Is your family ready?
Is your family? Yeah.
To spend the rest of your time with the Lord.
With the Lord.
Are you ready?
There you go. You go.
Great service. Saw our love bug. She's getting so tall, and her birthday is getting closer and closer every moment. So
yeah,
got to see her. And so it was just a great day. And then came home, and we've been chilling. And so blessed. It's been a great.
No complaints.
Birthday weekend. Yes, no complaints, and just very blessed.
All right.
Yep.
All right.
And thanks for making it awesome.
I try. So moving right along.
You like that?
Yeah, most definitely. Cool. So moving right along, we're going to get into our celebrity news.
Okay.
Again, we're going to pick up on the birthdays. Kim Kardashian just celebrated number 43.
Okay.
So what do you get a billionaire, a 43-year-old, I don't know, fashionista, whatever you want to call her, influencer?
Maserati.
A Maserati. Okay.
Cars.
All right. I can imagine how that birthday party went and who was there. The who's who. Birkin bags. Yeah. So that was the one big birthday we can talk about.
Okay.
Other celebrity news.
Okay.
Meryl Streep, the actress. I think everybody has either heard or knows of Meryl Streep.
Okay.
She just announced that her and her husband have been separated for about 6 years.
Okay.
Must be something in the water.
I guess.
You guys? Yeah. So hopefully this doesn't become a trend,
Right.
But she just came out and said that, and they supposedly get along just fine, but they have been separated.
Yeah.
So, but they continue. So that's celebrity news there. There was some mourning, some deaths in celebrity news. Suzanne Summers, Three's Company, very well known. She was dealing with breast cancer, and she passed away. So condolences to her family. Rudolph Isley, member of the Isley brothers,
Okay.
founding member. He recently passed away. He was 84. Dick Buckus, Chicago Bears Hall of Famer.
Okay.
He just passed away at 80.
Oh, wow.
And one of my favorites, I don't know if you guys watch soap operas or not. Probably not, but I do. Well, I used to anyway. I don't have time anymore. But Billy Miller, he was on Young and the Restless. He was Jack's brother, younger brother.
Okay.
And then he went on to General Hospital, where he played a character there. He played Jason Morgan. He came on the scene as Jason Morgan, then come to find out he was Jason Morgan's twin brother.
Okay.
So in the world of soap opera, that makes sense.
It does.
To us, it doesn't. But sadly, he passed away, and he was only 43. But he suffered with depression. So that thing is real. It is real. It doesn't discriminate, no matter what race, color, what matter. It doesn't matter your status. It's real. It's real. So he passed away from that. So that's sad to hear. But and that's it. That's it on the celebrity news. So yeah, that's our little take.
We appreciate that.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So moving right along.
Want to go into the top 5?
Let's go into the top 5. You want to do the top 5?
Let's see. Why don't
top
we,
5
why
is
don't
right
we share
here.
the top 5?
Why don't we share the top 5?
Okay. Top 5 things people say when they are they're about to ask you to borrow money.
Now we've all been through this. We've all been a part of it. Things people say when they about to ask for some money. No particular order.
Okay.
This is just the 5 I came up with.
Okay.
So number 5.
Number 5.
You know I wouldn't ask, but I've heard that one many.
You know I wouldn't ask, but
all right.
What about number 4? Hey, I was wondering.
Heard that one many a times in the shop. Heard that one.
Okay.
Number 3, bro, I need you. Can't tell you how many times I've heard that.
Okay.
Number 2.
Let me hold something. I think that's
let me hold something. That's old school right there.
That is old school. Hey,
let me hold something. Yeah, let me hold something.
I think I actually said that to Love Bug.
Yeah.
One time when I was like,
Yeah, I know you've heard that from me several times. Let me hold something. All right. And the number one saying, I need to holler at you.
I need to holler at you. You know that's about money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and cuz. I need to holler at you, cuz. Now I become family. I need to holler at you, cuz.
Okay.
So yeah, things people say when they're about to ask for some money.
I like that. That was a good funny. Hey Lamont, that was a good
What's up, Mont?
funny starter kit. So
let me hold something, cuz. Let me hold something.
Let me hold something, right.
So
I need to holler at you.
Yeah, I need to holler at you. So yeah, that was the top 5 for this week. That was pretty good.
Yep. Lamont said 2023 still the same.
Still the same.
Right.
Still the same.
If we probably went back to our parents would probably be like, they were
yeah.
that then.
Yeah. Let me hold something, cuz.
Yeah. So that is super cool. Yeah. Well, okay.
All
cool.
right. All right. So the topic of the day.
The top is a good one.
I think it's a good one. I kind of wrestled with this because originally the episode wasn't going to be about this, but for some reason, I don't know if it's Sunday or the Lord was just talking to me or whatever.
I think it's all that.
But the word grace just kept popping on me. So I was like, okay, what can we talk about on that? So today, the topic is 4 ways you can practice grace giving in your own marriage. But we're going to expand it, not just in marriage, in relationships in general, friendships, just relationships in general, in life. How can you practice grace? So let's give a couple of definitions for it. Well, one definition, but we're going to break it off in the layman's term. The simplest form of grace is approval, favor, courteous, goodwill, simple elegance.
Mm.
In the simplest terms, grace.
Grace.
That represents grace.
Yes.
So if you're someone that likes to pick up the Bible and read it from time to time, we don't want to leave you out. What I found is grace is the love and mercy given to us by God because God desires us to have it, not because of anything we have done to earn it. Grace.
Mic drop.
So, drop the mic.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So that is the interpretation of grace.
Say it one more time.
So grace is the love and mercy given to us by God because God desires us to have it, not because of anything we have done to earn it.
Wow.
So,
yes.
So what we want to talk about is how do you practice that in a relationship, whether it's marriage or friendship, in day-to-day life.
Yeah.
I will start it off with talking about 4 ways that you can practice grace giving.
Okay.
In your marriage.
Yeah.
Number 1, put yourself in your spouse's shoes.
Wow.
So now I will piggyback off of that, and I would say put yourself in someone else's shoes. So in addition to that,
yes,
sometimes we're quick to judge. Sometimes we're quick to, I guess you could say, deny or not want to do for someone.
right.
But if you take a step back, and just, give thought to, a person's situation, why it is, whatever that situation is.
Right.
So sometimes you need to, show grace.
That's right.
Grace and mercy.
And I love that, put yourself in your spouse's shoes or
Yeah.
just the other person's shoes, because we definitely want to make it universal.
Yeah.
And, whether it's spouse, just person you're in a relationship with, your boo thing, all that, your friends, your family, your coworkers, etc.
Yeah.
That's huge because it's not easy to do that. We're used to looking at things from our perspective.
Right.
That definitely, like Lamont said, unmerited favor, call that compassion. Yes. You need to kind of step away from yourself and how your perspective is. And that's tough. I mean,
it's
at the
very
end of the
tough.
day, all day we're making decisions based on our perspective,
right.
our opinions, our knowledge, our intellect, all of it day to day. Even when you're in charge of other people, if you're in charge of children, you're still making decisions all day that you think is best for that person, children, spouses, etc. So to put yourself in someone else's shoes, it's, to me, it's one of those phrases people say, but man, it's so hard to do.
Yeah, it's very hard to do. Yeah. Very hard to do. Good take on that. Number 2, give your spouse a chance to feel seen and heard. Wow. That's very powerful.
Yeah. Another one.
Yeah. And again, translate that over to friendships, work relationships, just relationships in general. Yes. Sometimes you can tend to dominate, take over a conversation, take over a situation, just tend to take over when there's another person there and they have just as much to say or just as much to contribute.
Oh, wow.
So sometimes you have to, show grace then, show grace, take a step back, let someone else be seen and heard.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my take on that.
Give someone a chance to be seen and heard.
Yeah. And especially in your marriage, never forget that it takes 2. It's 2 people coming as one.
That's right.
So, there's 2 voices that need to become one.
Right.
And for that to be done, each voice has to be heard. Right. So if you're always dominating, if you're always controlling, at some point you're going to have to be shown grace, or you're going to want to be shown grace. So you have to remember that. So that's kind of my take on it.
Yeah. And on being seen and heard, another just like spouse, think of being in someone else's shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Seen and heard is tough because again, we're used to seeing it from our own perspective.
Correct.
And or even you're like, okay, well, I know what he or she needs. I know what he or she likes, and it's like, yeah, but are you giving them the opportunity to really tell you
right
what they like or want or how they're feeling in that moment?
Yeah.
And in multiple moments, and just I think that's also another one, as we've talked recently about a lot of friends that are either becoming empty nesters, about to be empty nesters.
Hey, Rachel.
Hey, Rachel. Hey,
nice
cousin.
to see you.
Hey, cousin. Best makeup artist in the
bomb. The bomb. If you need a makeup artist,
welcome. And also just check her out.
Yeah,
she's
check
doing
her
a lot
out.
of other things besides that now, but she is awesome. She does all
very talented.
So check her out. Hey, cousin. So yes, hashtag Team Rachel. So, but when it comes to being seen and heard, I feel like people can, because in everyday life, you have the best and you already know the person, you have the best intentions. And we have some friends that are like becoming empty nesters, or just kids are getting older, and we all are changing. So even those of us that don't have kids, you're still changing, and you think like I could easily say, well, I know what Anthony likes, and I know, yes, I see him, I hear him. Again, I think it's something just like put yourself in that person's shoes. It could be easily said,
most definitely.
But then you're like, but have I really seen or heard when I think you're struggling, or when I think I'm not hearing you, right? If I think I'm not seeing you, if we're having a difference of opinion, any of those things, am I really seeing and hearing what you're saying in that moment, in that context? And even if I do, do you think I do? That's the whole, give them a chance to feel. That's what I love that you had that.
Right.
Your number 2.
Right.
Give your spouse a chance to feel seen and heard. And it's like, okay, wow, do you feel like you're being seen, heard? That goes to me hand in hand with appreciated, all those
gamut of things. Yeah. That's very important.
Considerate, and earlier Lamont said considerate and patience. Wow.
Considerate and patience. Wow. Most definitely add that in there. All right, moving right along, number 3. And again, the topic is 4 ways you can practice grace giving in your own marriage. And again, we expanded that not only in your marriage, but in your friendships, work relationships, just in life in general. That's right. Grace covers all of that, and grace is needed in all areas.
Yes.
So number 3, remember that you will need grace at some time.
You already touched on that. I
kind of touched on that.
I didn't even realize.
Go
deeper. Say more.
Well, I mean, it just is what it is. Everybody needs it. Everybody takes turns giving it and receiving it. So when your time comes where you need it, we need to be able to recognize. We need to be able to recognize when grace needs to be given, because I think tied in with that, giving grace is also being a blessing. If you can think back in time where, maybe you were too hard on someone, maybe there was an opportunity for you to show grace and you did not show it.
Wow.
So then tie that in at a time where, man, they could have gave me a break. They could have, been a blessing, shown some grace,
right?
But think about when you weren't. So it circles around. So just remember, at some time, you're going to need grace.
That's right. And I think that's, I might want to unpack that one. You'll unpack it an hour later.
Go ahead. Go right ahead.
So, number 3, remember that you will need grace sometimes.
Yes.
Oh man.
Hey, Maria.
Hey, Maria. So you can't be just on the receiving end.
That's correct.
That's right.
That's correct.
So you're going to need it. And like recently, I've been very kind of thoughtful, thinking about a lot. as we get older, like, the whole thing of aging, right? And
Yes.
not calling us old, definitely not doing that, but quote older. But no, honestly, mature. So I mean, I don't want to say,
Yeah, seasoned.
You could be right.
We're we're becoming more
We are more
seasoned.
seasoned. That's
Yeah.
right. See,
A little bit of that Lowry salt
you
being
see
put
some
in
salt
there.
right here.
Yeah,
That's seasoning.
yeah,
But anyway,
yeah.
I digress. But seasoning and maturity, and so that honestly, I'm talking about all 35 up,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And there's probably some good 30 up years old that are up there too. But
yeah.
with maturity. But as you get older, you start realizing certain things,
Mhm.
and you start realizing that you're going to need a lot of grace. You need grace. People are giving you grace and you don't even realize it,
And
because
you don't
again, when
realize
people
it.
give it, it's not to throw back up in your face. It's
Right.
not to say, oh well, I just gave you a lot of grace just a minute ago. You want to go ahead and make sure that you are acknowledging as we mature, you're
Yes.
getting more and you're giving more is how it should be.
Right. Right.
So you should want to really realize, man, I'm getting grace probably on a pretty regular basis.
Mhm.
So am I really giving that back out?
Yeah. Rachel said.
Rachel said, "Give it, and it shall be given unto you." Okay,
That's right. That's right. That's
good
right.
measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over implies to more than just money. And of course, she is in the Bible.
There you go. There you
If you
go.
want more love, grace, patience, etc., give more of it. And give more of it is in caps.
That's right.
See,
That's
what I
right.
was saying, Team Rachel.
And I think we're in a day and time now where a new book has been written. Me and my brother, we talk all the time, and I find myself referencing from the book that we were in during our time.
Uh-huh.
And comparing it to how things are done now, it's like we don't even exist, in our own minds. Yeah. But how we did things and how things are done now, it's just on such another level.
Right.
But what I'm noticing, and I don't watch the news as I used to be diehard. I gotta watch the news, I gotta stay on top of things. It's gotten so depressing. But the one thing that I'm seeing is that we don't know how to communicate with each other anymore.
Wow.
We don't know how to agree to disagree.
Oh wow.
But mainly
Indeed.
we don't know how to show grace.
Yeah.
Just taking a step back, trying to understand where somebody is in life, what they're going through, what they've been through. They may not be on that track yet. They're trying to get there.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, we have to try and understand people a little bit more,
Right.
be a little bit more patient, show a little bit more grace.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I think we're just really lacking that, whether that be, just in everyday life,
Right.
but in our relationships.
Right.
We're too quick to jump up in our husband's face or our wife's face, or raise our voice, or things of that nature. And I just think as we get older, we ought to be able to step back, take a deep breath, and look into that thing a little bit more with some grace and mercy.
That's right. And not always like, jumping just because something we think something is wrong, or we feel like something is wrong, or anything like that.
Yeah.
It can't always be you got to jump and say something. You got to jump and reply.
Yeah.
We got to listen more. We
Yeah.
have to be more patient, like you said, and give. And just remember, you're going to need grace. But also, if that is kind of where our starting point is, man, I'm going to give some grace to that. Then, you can really kind of, I don't know, just kind of level set more. Like, okay, that's where I should be coming from. I should be looking at it. And when you said realizing, kind of looking at how people do things and kind of giving them grace, that's what I think the maturity,
most definitely,
where the maturity comes in, that we have to all realize for me, the older I get, the more I realize that what we've done up until now is really shaping us to who we are now.
To who we are now.
You know what I
Right,
mean?
right,
So
right,
it's
right.
our childhood, it's our
Yeah.
teenage years, and it just keeps compounding and compounding.
Right,
And so now
right.
it's young 20s,
Right.
young 30s, okay, 40s. Okay, now we're married. Now I'm this. Now I'm a Gigi. Now
Yeah.
I'm this. I'm a grandmother.
That's
I'm a
right.
godmother, an aunt, a friend,
That's right.
a coworker, a this, a boss, a this,
Yeah.
an entrepreneur, everything, a teacher.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, all of those things make up who we are.
That's right.
And so giving grace, because we don't know what people went through or experienced or anything before we knew them. And even when you know somebody, you don't all the way know
You
them.
don't all the way know
I mean,
them.
it's
That's
a
right.
constant getting to know each other. And that's especially in relationships.
Especially in marriage.
I think that's how it keeps changing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, especially in
you
marriage.
just don't get married and all of a sudden you know everything about this person and what they've done for the last X number of years.
Who we were 11 years ago,
right.
We're a shell of that
That's
now.
Right. That's right.
It's like what is it, a butterfly, that metamorphosis? They they change into that. So where we are now is another chapter. We started off in chapter 1, and so now 11 years later, we're in another chapter. Go another 10 years, Lord willing, we'll be in another chapter. So it keeps going, chapter until you get to the end of the book. That's right. So we're not quite there to the end, but in order to get there, there are some rewards. But you have to show grace, you have to show mercy in that change. So that, man, this has just opened up a whole nother idea for episode. I want to have Lamont on next Saturday, and the idea that I kept talking about, from the streets to home, there's a lot of grace in that, going from the streets and getting home. And when I say home, metaphorically, your house, God's home.
Oh wow.
Going from the streets and being able to get back home, because we get lost in the streets. Some of us are able to find our way back home.
Right.
Some of us not. So we kind of got some experience with that. So we would like to share that.
Right.
We've done a lot of things and came through a lot of things, and met a lot of people who have shown us grace. So we will speak on that, and hopefully we can do that next Sunday. Okay. And we'll have my brother on, and we'll talk more on that, because man, this thing is deep. It's deep. It's got a lot of doors to it. It's got a lot of doors to it.
So we've for 4 ways you could practice grace giving in your own marriage or relationships. Put yourself, number 1, put yourself in your spouse's or the other person's shoes. Number 2, give the other person a chance to feel seen and heard. Number 3, remember that you will need grace sometimes, often, actually, is what I would say. And then number 4, love like Jesus.
Love like Jesus.
And definitely it's for people that are believers, definitely, if half of the things God forgives us daily that we do, say, think. Remember, he knows all. So he's forgiving us and giving us grace and mercy every day.
Yeah.
And imagine if we showed a millionth of that, a millionth percent of that, we'd be doing good.
Yeah. Most definitely. Most
grace
definitely.
As he gives us.
Most definitely.
Oh my God. I mean, like, that'd be an improvement for everybody, even the most graceful people. So love like Jesus. If you're, not as spiritual or what have you,
just love in general.
People believe in just the universe,
yeah,
karma, positive vibes, love like that. I mean, like, because at the end of the day, it's like Rachel said, like, you have to give it.
You have to give it.
Receive it.
That's right.
It's better when you do, right? It's better when you give, and then because you are constantly receiving, and that's love, grace, patience, all those great things. But definitely number 4.
I've been
Love
asked
to give grace like
before.
Jesus.
I've been asked before, would you rather be on the end of receiving, or would you rather be the one giving? And I rather be the one giving.
Mm,
I just, because I know what God can do for me.
oh,
And again, I'm not trying to get so spiritual and shove it down. I'm just speaking from my belief
that's
and
right.
my stance.
That's right.
Uh, there have been times all I've had is $1 in my pocket,
Mm,
and I've given it away.
mm.
But there's that voice in me, don't worry. And then
Right. I
not
got
an hour later,
you.
I get $20
That's
back.
right.
I
Yes.
get,
See, yes.
something happens.
Yeah.
And so now I've been this way for a while. I just don't worry about it. I
Mm,
just I don't worry about going hungry. I don't worry about lights getting cut off. I don't worry about not having, because I know
mhm.
it's going to be provided for me
That's right.
some way,
That's right.
somehow.
That's right.
But if I never provide for somebody, if
Yep.
I never give to somebody, it just wasn't meant to be that way.
Mm.
So if
Yep.
if you
Amen.
are listening, if you are someone, and you know this,
Mm.
if you are a little selfish, if you, and I gotta work for mine, you gotta work for yours, I can't.
Yeah. I can't help
I dare you to go back and rethink on that.
it. Yeah.
Just take a day, take an opportunity to give your last.
Mm.
Give your last to someone. Take that opportunity to go
Mm.
out of your way, and
Right.
man, okay, I'll take this hour to come and help you, and I got other things to do. But just sacrifice once, and just and let us know how it feels,
That's
what
right.
came out of that.
Right.
So
That's
uh
right.
yeah, I
Hey,
get off my
Janice.
soapbox. Hey,
Yeah.
Janice.
Hey, Janice. Nice to see you. Um,
Puerto Rico, I think they went to. I think
somewhere fabulous.
somewhere warm.
Yeah, that's right. That was the point. Somewhere warm. So
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah.
Um, good to see you. And Lamont was saying when he is your provider, you don't have to worry. So
You
you're
don't.
talking about like giving away your last.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Like you said, just different gems keep coming out of this because they're in Mexico, Cancun.
Mexico. Okay, I knew it
Thanks
was
for
somewhere.
sharing. I
I
know,
knew it was
right?
somewhere.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Jelly over here, jelly, but enjoy. And thank you for tuning in on
Yeah.
vacation. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Thank
something
you.
new. So
Thank
thank you.
you.
We appreciate that.
Thank you.
I'm always glad to hear from you guys. Tell the hubby we said hi. And so on the there's so many gems that are coming out of this because
Mm-hmm.
it's like when you were saying about giving your last, that
Mm-hmm.
reminds me a lot of my father. And of course, I told you a lot of things and how charitable you are. Really remind me of my dad. Of course, it reminds me of your dad.
Oh, most
And
definitely.
so, but my dad was like, I watched him literally spend his last to get my sister and I some food. And
Mm-hmm.
then we went down this street and there was a homeless person or someone in the alley and he
Yeah.
handed the person our food.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
like, I mean, it was fast food, right? McDonald's or something like that, probably.
Yeah.
And of course, we had food at home. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like, but still,
Right.
but I
Right.
know, he took his last to do it
Yeah.
and then just gave it away and then talked to us about always giving to others
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
always, being charitable. And it was before, like he was saying it in just very easy terms for us to understand. People are always going to have less than we have
That's right.
and need more help than we do.
That's right.
And
That's right.
so that's grace. I mean,
Yeah.
like that, when you talk about how do you show grace? Because I put it in the comments.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that could be in some of the, you did great research to get ready for this podcast. And some of the things I looked up was like forgiveness,
Mm-hmm.
encouragement, a
Mm-hmm.
helping hand,
Mm-hmm.
hope.
Mm-hmm.
It's like those aren't necessarily tangible.
Yeah.
But things that we can really, okay, so how do I give grace? Because there was one of the things that I researched.
Mm-hmm.
It was a person saying, okay, well, I grew up Christian. And so I know that God gives us grace
Mm-hmm.
and that,
Mm-hmm.
it's unmerited favor and,
Right.
all those things we, God is blessing us. So in everyday life, and I could
Yeah.
see that, it's this big concept and it's this
Right.
spiritual God concept.
Right.
So how does it trickle down to everyday life, everyday relationships? if you said, well, Kim, you're not giving me grace in this topic of what we're talking about, or this argument, or this, we're not seeing eye to eye, I might need to really hone in on, because I could, if I'm looking at grace in the big picture, it almost gets too overwhelming.
Right.
You know what I
Most
mean?
definitely. Most
So
definitely.
forgiveness. Are you easy to forgive? Are you forgiving? And again, without boasting about it. Like, I think as we get older, that's the thing, that you can't always have to have a one up. You can't always have to.
And since you put it like that, let's narrow this to the marriage.
Okay.
So what you're talking about right now, let's apply that to the marriage.
Okay.
So pick up where you left off,
Okay.
because that's great what you just said.
Yeah.
You know, a helping hand and you know, encouragement. You know, your partner, if you got to be paying attention, and there may be times where they need encouragement.
That's right.
You know, so go ahead.
I was just saying, forgiveness. Are you showing forgiveness? Are you giving forgiveness? Also forgiving ourselves. I mean, and that's still in the context of a relationship.
Hey, Mandy.
And hey, Sister Mindy. Also in the context of a relationship, and or a marriage, sometimes I have to forgive myself too. Right? Sometimes I have to, oh man, I kind of messed up. I blew it. Or just as we get older, again, we have to start realizing some of the pitfalls that we keep doing, and the things we keep doing, and we're not changing, and we're all smart, intelligent, God-loving, loving, caring people.
Most definitely.
But sometimes we're in our own way, just straight up. We're in our own way. So are we showing forgiveness for our spouse, and also forgiving ourselves? Are we encouraging and giving encouragement? And that goes a long way.
That goes a long way. As I've said before, Kim is my biggest supporter. She is my biggest cheerleader. And there are times where I get frustrated from her cheering so much. And you know, it's like, okay, I get it. You got my back. I get it. I get it. But you know what? I can complain about it, but I would miss it if it wasn't there. So, you know, but yeah, she's my biggest cheerleader. And I thank her because she recognizes when I need it. I don't have to go to her and say, oh, have pity on me, or, you know, whatever the case. She pays attention, and she sees it, and she makes herself available. And again, we're not the same as we were 11 years ago. So she's learned to, okay, I can pour myself into this situation. A little bit here, a little bit there. It used to be just jump right in. And, what can I do? What can I do? I love it, babe. I love it. But let me, as a man, let me try and figure this thing out. And then on the flip side of that, everything was, I'm a man. Let me figure this out. Well, God blessed me with a mate.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
a helpmate.
You know, I've had to learn how to recognize. I keep trying to go outside and figure out an answer, find an answer. Answer is right there. So, you know, as a couple, as a union, you know, being married, these are things that we have to recognize. But the main thing, the main ingredient in all of that, in those instructions, is grace, and then mercy. You know, having mercy for somebody.
That's right. But thank you for all those nice things, and you, of course, are also.
Well, that's your birthday present.
Oh.
Dun-dun-dun.
Okay. What? No, I'm just kidding. I received that, because those are great. Those are positive things to say, and the fact that I know you mean them, I honestly appreciate that. The forgiveness, encouragement, helping hand, hope. I think those are all things, of course, that you show. Also, you're my biggest fan. Also, you're definitely my protector. I say that all the time. And so, encouraging, I think, is one where, to your point, you have to also know how to do it and when to
you have to know how.
And you are. We're all evolving, and we're all, maturing. We're all growing. We're all improving. All the positives, right? And so we're learning. Just that was a great example. I might have been 10 toes down, as they say, and ready to jump in, and it's like, whoa, right now I got it, or right now I'm just using you as a sounding board, or
that's correct.
I'm not right now. And so you have to know when to encourage.
Yeah, and not get offended. Know how to not be offended because your mate kind of puts you at a standstill. Like, okay, I got it. Well, I just want to help. I just want to be. Got it. But at this moment, I need to do this. And then I may call you off the bench and come in the game and give me 20 points.
I love it. Thank you for adding that forgiveness, encouragement, helping hand, and hope.
Yes.
I was led to that. So, Lamont was saying we show grace by serving another in whatever capacity. That's totally right. I feel like that's a lot of what you said for number 2, a chance to make the person feel seen and heard. You could say, okay, I'm gonna, show you grace, and you show me grace, and that when I run late, and you're such an early person.
Yes.
Okay, well, that's a good time to show me grace, but maybe I need grace in another place, and maybe I need it in a different way, and that's where, whatever capacity. I love that. So this was a great topic.
It was a great topic, and it opened up a lot of doors. I think it was good conversation. Sometimes we need to get a little deep here. Sometimes we get a little deep.
I think I kept saying you were deep and bumping the mic, but I don't think it was too deep.
Most definitely.
Everybody there. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We don't take it for granted.
We don't take it for granted. And next Sunday, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I'm just kind of excited. This has kind of got me amped up.
Okay.
Next Sunday, if everything works out, I want to have my brother on, and we want to kind of be a little bit more transparent. We'll probably tell a few stories. Won't get too deep, but really form that picture of how being in one place and traveling to another place, the outcome of that, and what it did. So, we've got a story to tell. I do believe, and again, we'll be a little bit transparent, but hopefully we can do that next Sunday. And if we don't do that, we'll be doing something else. But that is the goal. And again, for those that are on the beach enjoying the sun and everything, taking time out to listen and watch us, we appreciate you, and everyone else who's chimed in. Thank you guys.
Yes, thank you guys. Great podcast. And again, keep contacting us and let us know your ideas, thoughts, opinions. We love it, and thanks for supporting us, and we will see y'all next week.
Peace.
Bye.